one of the gourds still sitting out in the field. See how it's got that black layer of skin? What happens is, this one's really heavy. This is a good one. This grew for quite some time. The heavier they are, the thicker the shell will be once you start to clean them. But that's basically one that grew in the garden this year. I think we only got like 3 or something this year, but that's just one. This one I think is just a small kettle. I think they call this a kettle. I could be wrong about that. I'd have to look and see. Here's another one that made it. See how the skin's, when you leave it out through the winter out in the field, they have a tendency to, the skin has a tendency to come off all on its own. It's not that hard to clean. So this is what they look like in the field. The ones in Arizona, it's so dry there that the skin just peels right off, and they're easy to clean. But to clean these, you just take them and soak them in water, and the skin, once it's there, the skin will just peel off like layers of an onion. But this is going to be a good gourd. It's very, very heavy. I can hardly hold it with one hand. So this is going to be a good one. It's being a nice big birdhouse. Came in a little too late in the season. They didn't have time to get as much growing time as they needed. They're really, really thin. So when you have something this thin, you're better off not trying to put a hole in it. Just stain it red like an apple and make it just like a little apple to sit on your table. That's basically what happens when they get too thin. You have to get them growing and pollinated and set, so they have at least 180 days of growing to get thick. That one's not going to make it, but that's what they look like when they're hanging on the fence. Apple gourds that came out of our yard last year, they're very, very thin. They didn't have enough growing time, but my husband's going to show you how he cleans it with his cleaning tool. Go ahead, honey.
So as you can see, these are pretty much similar. I've already pre-cut them. One I cut with the hole for a birdhouse, or birdhouse. This one I cut the top off, and this is what it looks like inside. And there's also there's seeds in here. This is a gourd seed here. You can save these and put them into the ground and they'll grow. I don't do it right now because I have thousands of them saved. But anyway, that's what the inside looks like. So you can just grab it and pull some of this out. You can see some of the seeds in here.
You have to wear a mask.
Yeah, then you really need to wear a mask when you're doing this. One of those white masks that you see people wearing. And then I have this because these things get toxic.
Yeah.
And when you're done working with them, you should wash your hands really good because you want to get all that stuff out of them. But you can see all the seeds inside here now.
What they do is they grow a mold inside, and that mold it can be toxic to humans. So that's why they recommend a mask whenever you're cleaning out the inside of those. When you go to a lot of craft fairs and things, a lot of them they don't even clean them out anymore. But it's best if you do. Okay, go ahead, honey.
So I bought this tool quite a few years ago, and it has the rough edges on the one side and smooth on the other. And this is what I use to clean these out. So I'll take it and just scrape along the edges, and it'll scrape all this stuff out. And you can see how this all comes out. And then I just throw it all away. Then when you get done getting all of it out, I haven't quite got it all out yet, but when it's all out, take just a piece of regular sandpaper and just sand it down inside, just to make it as smooth as possible. And that's all there is to cleaning it.
What you could also do is you can get those paints, the exterior paints, or even interior, even the little folk art paints, and add sand to it and make a textured paint and coat the inside, so you can make little jewelry boxes or little storage boxes. A lot of your artisans who do the gourd art will coat them with the textured paints or the textured spray paints on the inside and give it a nice finish. So
Okay,
here's,
so this birdhouse, it has the same basic inside as that, so this fits inside the hole just like that. You just scrape along inside it, and it'll take all that stuff out, and then you can just so you get the pieces of it and just throw it out, and you clean it as good as you want inside, and you can see all of that came out.
can't really see in the
So, but that's basically, that's why this tool is so good. It fits right in here, and it'll clean it right out.
See what I was talking about, not having a long enough growing season. When you don't have enough growing season, you get really thin gourds. So in this case, we probably should have just stained this one and made it an apple instead of trying to cut into it, because it's just very, very thin. But maybe on this one you can see how thin it is. But this is the kind of gourd you can't carve into because they're just too thin. But you can use them for other things around the house and just for decorations. Okay, anything else you want to talk about? Is that everything? Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.
This one I'm probably going to a lot bigger gourd than we just showed you. And it's all cut out, hollowed, all cleaned out inside. And then it's got the nice painting on it. And you can do all kinds of stuff to make them as nice as you want. And
that also has the black coating on the inside. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's not in the, maybe if we get to this, see how it's got that black concrete-like paint in there. It's got an actual finish inside. And with the gold leaf around it and gold paint. Here's a couple gourds that my husband did. It's actually just one gourd that was cut in half, and then you on the bottom half of this here you put a piece of wood, well, from here down, and then you stuff dried flowers in them, and you can come up with all kinds of different designs, but you're only using one gourd to make one wall decoration. I've got them, about 3 of them all around the house, but this one is in the lightest room. Here's another example of one of those cut in half gourds. I have it next to some pictures in the hallway, but I've got one on each side, and they turn out pretty. They really do, and they're so simple to make. And you can stain them any color you want. And they're just gorgeous. Okay, this is one of his little dodo birds. It's a little gourd art that you can put in your plants. This one's one of the miniature ones. This is called a banana gourd and a mini jewelry gourd. And what you do is you drill a hole on one side, put the gourd together with glue, and then you can decorate it any way you want. He made a bunch for the yard too, with the crazy colors on them, and they're just so cute. You can make the sticks as long as you want them and have them poke out through your plants. But that's a little dodo bird plant decoration. Real cute. Here's a bowl of fruit my husband made. These are all gourds too. These are banana gourds. He got them shaped by bananas. They come and they look like, if you leave the little hairs on top, they look like almost a onion. And then here is a snowman pear shape. He painted that green like a Bartlett pear. And Here's just another, like a Bosque pear, only it's really big. And let's see what else he's got in here. He's got a little potato almost. More onions, and here's another warty gourd. He just threw this in here as one of the ones we grew in the yard. But there's just so many things you can do. But these bananas are the ones that we used for the little dodo birds out in the yard and in the flower baskets and the green plants. But that's another thing you could do with these gourds.